Hello everyone, and welcome to Open Source Friday. We've got an echo. Let me fix it. Alright, is that fixed? We have the echoes are fixed. Woohoo! Fixed! Hello, Santiago. Welcome into the chat. Welcome into everyone, and apologies for the echoes. You know, you all just wanted to hear me talk like 5 times, so that's why we just had to give you a little bit of extra mish in the house. Hey, Bdougie, yo! We got lizard. I said lizard words, but it's liquid words. Hey, liquid words. Hey, Connie, how are you? How is everyone? We are very, very excited about today's content. It's going to be really good. Who's excited about today? Like, come on, it's also Friday. Well, at least if you're in APAC or in Australia or somewhere in the Southern Hemisphere bit, it's Friday. So can't get, too hung up about that. It's awesome. It's Friday. We've got Lamaka. We've got Dali. Hello, welcome in again to you too. So excited. So it's Thursday afternoon / evening for everyone in the Northern Hemisphere, and Friday afternoon for all of you down on my level. I was going to say my side of the pond, but yeah, my level. My level's good enough. I like it. It's 9 p.m. where you are. Oh, welcome in to, I hope you're having a lovely evening then. Feel free, this is, again, we are coming to you live to your house, so feel free to bring whatever you like. I have my trusty cup of tea in my beautiful GitHub mug. Feel free to bring your own tea or coffee, or if it's after 5, a beverage of your choice. You are more than welcome. It's 4 a.m. in Germany. What are you doing up at 4 a.m.? Oh my gosh. Well, welcome in. You are so welcome to be here at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I hope that we bring you some really fun, exciting content and make it worth your while being up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So, without further ado, who would like to meet today's guest? Who would like to meet today's Open Source Friday guest? Now, if you've obviously seen the meetup group or you've been watching on Twitter, you probably already know who it is. I'm excited for today's guest because they're really cool. We've got Mads. Mads is excited. Lima Cap's excited. I'm excited. So, without further ado, let's bring them in. Hello, Bdougie!
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing well. I've had a full day of work, and now I'm ending my day with a stream with MishManners, so I'm super excited with that.
Wow, you can't get much better than that, hey. I mean, like, well, I want to say it's the start of my day, but it's not really. It's afternoon here. It's kind of like my afternoons spending time with Bdougie is like the best thing ever. Now, if you saw my tweet, I literally tweeted that one of the best things about working with GitHub is being with awesome colleagues. So, it's really cool. I'm so excited. No, it's fine. I mean, you say that about me all the time, right?
Yeah, all the time. Actually, I shout you out quite a bit too, because I always end up coming after you. Whenever I do the Friday streams, you'll do a stream around this time, and then I'll do a stream in the morning. So yes. I always have to shout out what Michelle did the day before. And yeah, Lake, welcome. It sounds like I can boost my mic up a bit. I don't know if it's on your end or
yeah, sure, end. I can boost you up a little bit. I was trying to gauge the levels as we're going. Is that okay. Good, Dave? Let us know. I'm trying to like gauge as we're going. It's always fun trying to play around with like, the music audio and my audio and Bdougie's audio. But let us know if Bdougie sounds good now. You got a beautiful sweet. What do you got? A Blue Yeti microphone? That's what you got, yeah?
No, I've got the Rode Procaster.
Ah.
I don't want to mess with it too much and rub it against everybody's ears, but yeah, that's my mic of choice. Actually, shout out to my YouTube channel. I actually went through my entire desk setup on my YouTube account. So if anybody's interested in why I sound so good and what I'm sort of using as far as cameras and stuff like that, people always ask. So I finally made a video, and I'll do a blog post this weekend on all the details of everything I have to make the streams work.
That sounds good. Well, don't forget to follow Bdougie on Twitter. You can see his name down below. Follow him on Twitter because I'm sure you'll tweet that. I know lots of people will be excited about that. Fun fact about the Rode microphone. Do you know that's an Australian company?
Yes, I
I
did know
know,
that actually.
it's so good. I was like, yes.
I've been using Rode for quite some time, quite a few years.
Yeah, I know, so cool, right? And we've got Lethal Arrow is in the chat saying, how much do you guys make with open source tech? Well, that might be a good topic of conversation to get to later. Why people do open source, how much money you could potentially make. As far as that question, like how much do you make in open source, is basically equivalent of like asking how much can you make on YouTube or how much can you make as a Twitch streamer. You can make everything from $0 to whatever Ninja's making, which is I think like 700,000 US per month just in subs. So, it really depends on what you're doing, right?
Yeah, and I would say like most of those Twitch streamers, they always respond back with like, just do it for the fun, and then that will pay the bills eventually. But it's a long tail. I think open source might be a little bit similar. We do have things like GitHub sponsors and Patreon and open. What is it? Open Collective? Forgot the other one. But yeah, there's quite a few other tools to be able to make money through open source. But it really just comes down with your skill set.
Exactly. I think that's right. Like, a lot of people started off for fun. I mean, we know some people, especially some people have got up to 6 figures on their open source projects. We know some people like that. They started for fun. They end up going bigger and better. So, oh my gosh, I love your pizza emote, by the way. It is adorable. How I'm gonna respond with my own emote. There we go. I love it. It's so cute and beautiful. It's so good. Well, I think what everyone is here today to do is to get into how to actually make a GitHub bot for the Twitch channel and how to integrate GitHub and Twitch. So I think we should get started, right?
Yeah. This is one of my favorite things to do. I probably spend way too much time messing around with Twitch stuff and APIs. So I'm happy to share my knowledge today.
Sounds good. And before we do jump into it, we've got a question from Dave Core, which is, are we both working for GitHub and APAC? We both do work for GitHub. I work in APAC, so I'm located in Melbourne, Australia, and Bdougie.
Yeah, I am normally based in San Francisco, California, but at the moment, for the next couple months, I'll be in Florida, which is where I'm at right now. A lot of people have asked me on Twitter why my background is so different. That is not a green screen. This is actually a blank room with one light.
A blank room. Well, you need to like set up some sort of GitHub swaggage or something in the background there, right?
Yeah, I almost brought some posters that I've had like sitting next to my desk, and they just didn't fit in my suitcase. They were just slightly too long. And then the GitHub shop refreshed, so there's no posters there. So I'm sort of out of GitHub swag at the moment. All I have is a hoodie. But I do have a coupon to buy some stuff in the GitHub shop. So maybe
there you go.
Maybe
just like buy a few t-shirts and like pin them on the wall in the background. But I was going to say, you have like a printing store, don't you? You gotta have something there. You should just go and print a couple out.
Yeah, and someone's commenting on your esports
I know.
jersey.
Do people like it? I actually helped design these. So these are very limited edition. We did them for some of the live coders, which Bdougie and I both happen to be involved in the live coders live coding Twitch team, which is exciting, and a couple of our GitHub people have it as well. So yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like it. It was like the esports look that we kind of went for, and I'm also loving Lethal Error's comment, which is API is a person in need. We know that's not what it actually stands for, but let's jump into it. And I know Bdougie spent quite a bit of time building this, what do you call it? Twitch bot thingy, integration stuff, readme file. It looks all pretty. I've linked it in the chat. Would you like to talk us through a little bit about this first, Bdougie, before we jump into actually doing the building?
Yeah. So API, meaning application protocol interfaces. It's a way so you can basically connect to different tools like Twitch or GitHub. I guess zooming out a bit, if you haven't actually seen me, I know there's a lot of familiar names in the chat right now, but I do developer advocacy, developer relations with Michelle here at GitHub. And my focus for the past couple of years has been around our API and building things like GitHub apps and GitHub actions and now GitHub integrations with Twitch as well, just for fun. So I just kind of have a lot of knowledge on how GitHub's API works. And because of that knowledge, I wanted to, I do some live streaming myself. So I wanted to be able to connect my GitHub account to my Twitch account. So when I'm on live streams, people can interact with my GitHub repos, and I could see that in my Twitch chats and stuff like that. And I think it's a common like use case. I think a lot of, actually, Michelle, you have a bunch of Twitch integrations on your account as well.
I do. Not as fancy as yours, but I do have a bunch of integrations. A lot of mine are like pre-built, so I use a lot of stuff like Stream Elements and Streamlabs and things like that. Actually, there's an Australian developer here who Mailstream, and he builds a lot of integrations with that go nicely. But essentially, they're all just browser sources, so anyone can
and
kind of use
they're
them.
all built with code too. That's the other thing, is a lot of those. So I use some Stream Elements. So if you've ever seen my streams on Bdougie, which is right here, there's like a little widget that shows what's playing on my Spotify. That's a Stream Elements plugin that someone else built using code. And instead of putting it on GitHub, they just put it on Stream Elements. So if you are familiar with Stream Elements, this is a place where you can also share these little snippets of code, kind of like a marketplace, but it's all, well, I think majority is free. You might be able to buy
Majority is free,
but,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm getting at is like this integration that we're going to mess with, like we could package this up, make it pretty, and then go throw it on Stream Elements. But one thing I sort of realized when I started streaming a year ago on Twitch is that a lot of these integrations, like a lot of people don't share the code. A lot of people don't talk about the code. Even the live coders, like sometimes it's hard to even find like their GitHub accounts or the repos they're working on. And I just want to make it a lot easier for when you're writing code on Twitch, how can folks get connected to the code on GitHub while you're doing that? Because all of this stuff's open source. GitHub's like kind of it is the home for open source, home for a ton of developers, all developers. And I just wanted to make it so much easier for that. So that's what this is. git-twitch, it talks from GitHub's API using webhooks to Twitch. And that's sort of we'll get into sort of how the nuts and bolts, but I think we have some more questions in the
We do, and I think a couple of the questions around too, like what are we trying to do? And now obviously if a lot of you have joined in on some live streams on either Bdougie's channel, my channel, or any other channels, you'll notice that obviously if someone follows, there's nearly always an alert that pops up on stream. You know, there's a little GIF and there's some sound and then there's an alert saying thank you, Bdougie Yo, for following, and you'll get something. So the idea is to do some more integrations like that with GitHub. So we got there, Dave said, like, if someone did a git push to our repo, the bot on Twitch would let us know. So yeah, maybe it's a little thank you, like, thank you, Dave Core, for making a push, but also we want notifications to pop up on stream, like, you know, this one that Bdougie's got on screen, or maybe that pops up and says, you got some cool music going, and it's like, Dave Core has pushed to this repo, or even like I double checked before, but I'd already starred this repo, but even if we star a repo, maybe it pops up and there's stars everywhere, like, you know, basically we want to make some more fun on-screen and in-stream interactions when you're actually interacting with GitHub, because as Bdougie said, you know, a lot of streamers that are live coders, there's not that much that you can do. Like it's like, oh, how do I find my GitHub? Or, you know, go down and search around, look at it, or, you know, hopefully it lines up and it's the same thing. Now, Bdougie sent me a link which is actually locked. I'm not sure why it's locked.
Is it locked?
Yeah, it's locked for me. I don't know why it's locked. But yeah, like as Daryl Duck said as well, like, you know, if someone forks it, copies it, opens it, makes a push, makes a pull request, like Bdougie's idea about this is to build it so that you can change what you want. Like in the same way you can choose to show alerts of followers, subs, bits, cheers, whatever it happens to be. We want you to be able to use this to integrate GitHub and Twitch however you like. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so the link I sent you is the beybot, and I don't know why it was locked for you, but
okay. We got it now.
Yeah, there we go. So this was like my first introduction into Twitch integrations, not using GitHub, but specifically just Twitch integrations in general. So there's a live coder called InstaFluff. He has an awesome channel. You should definitely follow him. He built this thing called Comfy.js, which is an SDK. And I use the term SDK. SDK is like a software developer kit. It basically takes your API and then makes really approachable interfaces with it. So this one's in JavaScript. So like I write a lot of JavaScript. I'm able to do chat commands. So usually a chat command, some people are here, I do like basically exclamation point yo. And that's a way for people to say hello when they come into the chat, or if we just want to get hype. And what happens there, if you scroll down to the bottom, there should be an animated GIF of this happening. So that's the yo happening, which is basically Brandon comes in the chat, types in yo, he lets me know I'm here, and then it says on the screen that Brandon's hype. So that's the basics of my beybot, and it was like my introduction to try to build chat integrations. And the one thing I want to point out too as well is like these all exist, and you can do a stream element or all these other tools to sort of install this. Oh, Brandon, here's his name. He's in the chat. His ears are burning. But what I'm getting at is when I first tried to build these, there was like not a lot of information on how to build these so from scratch. A lot of folks just kind of pointed you to stream elements, and I just wanted to build it to learn because like I know how to code. So I figured I'd just jump in, and it took a lot of work. So in that actual README, it's actually instruction on how to build it yourself. So I wrote a whole blog post and then put it into in the README as a blog and tutorial of how you can sort of do that. And the beauty of it is that this beybot is hosted on GitHub Pages. So that's the other thing, is that you don't have to have a server or anything else running to get this one integration working. You just simply fork the repo and actually deploy it to a GitHub page by just going into settings and then taking that GitHub page URL and throwing it into a browser source, and then you have chat integration. Also, keep in mind, you need to put your account. It's actually in the documentation, but you do a switch from my name to your name GitHub account, because otherwise you'd only be getting integrations when people talk to me in my chat, and that would be awkward.
It's like you just like randomly, so it's like, hi, Bdougie, and you're like, what? That'd be annoying for both the person who's trying to set up the new, but also for you, right? Because you'd be getting changes and sources, And I think
it's actually funny because I've actually gotten people who weren't in my chat but were testing it. Like you could tell they were testing that, because I have a YouTube video that I did this to as well, and a blog post. So you could tell people were reading the blog post while it was live on stream, or while it wasn't live on stream, and like the integration would just go, like the chat ops would just happen, which is hilarious. Way to put my name out there.
I think it's great. Like, I think I was saying this to you, Bdougie, on one of our meetings, that like one of the things I love about live coders and about developers being able to do like code on Twitch is they theoretically should have the best like interactions and engagement on Twitch, because you can essentially code and build whatever you want. And so I've jumped into, obviously InstaFluff has some really cool stuff on his channel, and some of the other live coders actually are hired by Twitch to build integrations. And so some of the stuff they have on their channels is really cool. Like one of them is like when you come into raid, there's all these things like fire off over the screen, and like all his viewers have to try and stop you raiding, and they like try and like it's really fun. So I love the fact that there's all these things that we can do. And we have got a few questions. Don't worry, we're not avoiding them. I'm banking them all up in my head. But one question we've got there is, as Daryl says there, can we see an example of it? And you can obviously see it in the README, so you can see there's one here. I think there's a few other examples you've got there as well. Otherwise, you can always jump into Bdougie's Twitch channel and watch them all happening live.
It will probably happen like 20 times during my stream. So if I stream for 2 hours, there will at least be 20 people who have typed in yo or pizza or welcome. I've got a welcome chat too, or chat integration too as well.
No, I think it's amazing. I can't wait to set this up for mine. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing it, so I can learn to set this up too. We've got a couple of questions though before we jump into the next thing, which is GitHub Pages like AWS Lambda?
Yeah, and I think Brian or B Ryan, he explained it. GitHub Pages is kind of the predecessor to things like Netlify and Vercel. Vercel does a bit of extra stuff too as well with the sort of functions built in, and even Netlify at this point. But inside of building, let's say, a JavaScript app or a static site generated app, you can build it to HTML files. So a lot of what you're going to see soon when we start integrating this chat integration is that we're just putting HTML files on the screen. Like literally, actually, what's above our head and what's below our head, that's an image, but we could just as easily make that HTML file. Even better, my example in my README if you look on the side of my live stream, so scroll up just one more.
That one there.
On the side there, and everything around in the black box is actually a Gatsby site. So it's a statically generated React site that I've created with a URL that's actually hosted on GitHub Pages as well. And I'm able to, on the fly, I can change the URLs on the page using a browser source. Same thing with the chat integration that's sort of popping in on the bottom. That's also a browser source. I don't maintain that one. I've actually built one a couple times, and I've just never been able to make a better version than what Stream Elements is providing. So I just always end up using theirs. But I do have it on my list to actually build a better chat integration that does cooler stuff than the sort of out of the box, colorful words on black screens.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think speaking of cool stuff, shall we jump into it? I'm so keen.
Yeah. So if you just want to go to the git-twitch one, so there's going to be things for the beybot that is included in git-twitch. So that's which is why we're going to skip over beybot. I just wanted to give people a more introductory experience, just because that one actually has a good README. This one is a very limited README that I just wrote tonight. So
it's getting there. It says to be continued.
Yes. Stay on the edge of your seats. But also, it's open source. That's the beauty of this, is that you can just jump in there and improve it as to your heart's content. But I think the first step to actually start using this is actually fork it. So if you want to go ahead and hit the fork button.
To me.
Yes.
You should fork it to me. Oh yeah, sorry guys. We do have. Unfortunately, we have timeouts. I'm just
so we actually, because GitHub is a known property on Twitch, we do have to do night watch, and we can't actually have you paste URLs. But I can always paste stuff, and I can also unban you too as well as a moderator on the channel.
For some reason, my mod settings aren't working at the moment, so that's okay. I'll just pop out the chat again, and we'll see if we can keep the mod settings going, so I can unban you all at some point. Nope, still not working. There we go. Got it. All right, we can unban you now. That'll teach you. Yeah, that'll teach you for trying to be helpful. All right, cool. So we forked that. Now what do we do? We're also going to go through it really, really basically, so that if anyone has never done this before, you will know exactly what to do. So I'm going to ask Bdougie all the questions on everything, so we know exactly what to do. And then if anyone is going to come back and watch this VOD afterwards, either on YouTube or on Twitch here, you'll know exactly what's happening, hopefully.
Yep, sounds good. Right. So now that we have, actually I have the steps written down. So first step is fork it. The second step is open a Codespace. Now this is an optional step. That you might not have access to Codespace. You should probably sign up for Codespaces and probably reach out to somebody on this channel who's hosting it, and maybe we can help you out. But I highly recommend it because it's going to be easy for me and Michelle to collaborate without worrying about like local environments and stuff like that. So you guys are protecting your jobs for not answering.
Yeah, we'll answer, as I said, we'll get to some of the questions later, like, you know, the one about what code base is GitHub built on. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We want to get through this first, so. Unless you want to give a 30-second response.
It's sort of out of band, really, for what we're talking about. But like the interview process at GitHub, it's different depending on the team. So Michelle
exactly, I had a very different interview experience to you did probably.
Yeah, and like you converted as a from contractor to hire too as well, which is a whole different experience because you're already in. Exactly. But my experience is actually, the funny thing is I have a YouTube account and I talk about this, and it's like the first video that yells at you. So I would actually, before I even go into that, I would say just go to my YouTube account, and then I have a YouTube video called How I Got My Job at GitHub, and it actually explains it all, which is the beauty of social media and having stuff pre-prepared, so that way the questions answer. But I would say the interview process is, because I have a technical and a hybrid role, my technical screen was briefer than normal engineering's. There's too many eyes in that the I like robot. Apologies. My keyboard's normally made for Vim and not for
not for chatting on Twitch, right? Shots fired.
Yeah, but so that's the case. And then the stack at GitHub. GitHub's a very large company. We're almost 2,000 employees. We have a very large engineering team. we can't answer the question what the stack of GitHub is because it's such a large product. So it uses everything. It originally was a Ruby on Rails project back in the day, but it's now Ruby on Rails with injected servers and Kafka and Java and Rust clones. And then we have some Elixir and small plate, like a very, I'm not even sure it's still in production, but we're just doing so much stuff that we can't answer that question like that. So what we do is we hire engineers who can engineer. So we and it's actually not even microservice. It's actually, and sorry, I'm reading the chat, Daryl saying microservices. It's a monorepo that has microservices sort of attached. So I don't know how to explain this, but it's something, someone mentioned Netlify earlier. Netlify was my former employer. We also had a very similar structure. We had a monorepo, which a bunch of microservices attached to the monorepo to make it work. That's just kind of how cloud works. And yeah, once you get this big, you sort of start engulfing all different types of languages and frameworks.
That's just what we do. We just engulf things, don't we? All right, let's get back to this. So I've forked it and you mentioned open a Codespace. So I'm assuming what we need to do now is I go back to my repo and where I forked it, correct?
Yeah, so you forked it. You want to open up your fork and then open up a Codespace.
So let's go Codespaces. Open with Codespaces. New Codespace. All right.
Yeah.
We've got new Codespace. Now this usually doesn't take too long. We actually did a video on this a little while ago on how quick a Codespace works. Anyone who is tuning in from Melbourne or knows how bad the internet here is in Australia, this takes a little while. So usually, I think I calculated it when I was in the US, or like I think you might have done it too, Brian. It takes about less than a minute, but in Australia it took about 5. So we're gonna see how long it takes today to build this Codespace.
Oh, it actually took 5 minutes in Australia. There's not much that it's installing, so we do because we don't have a ton of node modules. We have like probably 2. We don't have to wait for node modules and stuff like that.
There we go.
This instance.
It's done. Oh no, it still says configuring. Still getting there. Sorry.
Yeah, and actually, while this is working, I can explain a bit of the project too as well. And actually, we're going to install a couple different. We'll install one thing, and then we'll have to also set up a webhook server or a webhook receiver, which I am prepared to explain. So we got the Codespace. We're essentially just did step 1. Which is great because Codespace it gives you a full browser environment with VS Code that's connected to your GitHub repo automatically, which sort of removes all the sort of extra trying to figure out how to make sure your environment works locally. Like, do you have node 14? Do you have node 15? Do you have node 10? Like, we don't have to know what node version you have, Michelle, on your machine, because the Codespace is going to have the latest and greatest for us.
Exactly, and I think the other cool thing about Codespace too is you can basically develop from anywhere in the world now. All you need is a laptop and an internet connection. So maybe not anywhere in the world, because there are lots of parts of Australia without internet. But, if you have internet connection and a laptop, like any kind of laptop, you can pretty much run anything and start developing code and deploying code instead of waiting weeks and weeks and weeks to get the right develop machine or to get access to certain projects or just to get admin rights or whatever. Like, this just opens it, and if this is almost done, it looks like it's done. Does that look done? Looks done. It just says, welcome to Codespaces.
You could probably copy and paste the number 2. And this is actually it's going to install. You know what? That's the wrong. Apologies. That's the wrong command.
I was going to say it's install npm, right? Or what was
No, it's npm install, but it's actually sme-client.
Okay.
I've made that mistake before, so I'm going to actually update that on the upstream.
Hang on, I want to update it. How do I do that?
Oh, perfect.
Actually, I got a question on this. So if I wanted to update your README, should I update it on mine and then send back, or what is the best protocol if I was wanting to update your README?
First step would have been create a fork, which you're already there.
Which we're done.
Second step is just edit the README directly in your repo, not yours.
In my repo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And then we create a okay. So if we edit this, no, that's back to yours.
The pencil. Yeah, you went back to mine.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, here we go. Now we've got the edit button. Okay, so what's the correct command here?
So on line 2, it should be sme-client.
sme-client. Still with the space?
Yeah, no space.
No space, like that.
Yeah, connect that. So it's like one word.
Yep.
Essentially, and then make sure your -G still is there. Is that?
It's not. Where'd my G go?
I think you have insert typing on.
I do. So we want SME dash client. Well, we do have insert typing. SME dash client dash G. Was that what you wanted?
Yeah, -G. But the G, it needs a space between.
There we go.
The,
I was like,
the dash before
space.
the G.
There we go. I did have my insert.
Yeah. So this is basically just taking npm, installing it globally to your environment. Now, this is something that with Codespaces I could have set up beforehand, but I didn't. But we'll just end up just running this locally anyway. So if you want to open a PR, I can merge that on the air.
So I can go commit. Is that how we do it?
Yeah, you can commit to your main branch, and then you'll need to open up a PR as well.
So we go to pull requests here.
Yep, new pull request.
And then we go, is that right? Going from the base.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
So it's going to my main branch from your main branch. You can see our files changed right here.
Yep.
So it looks about good. Create a pull request.
Woohoo.
And I like to be descriptive here.
Great.
I think that's descriptive enough, I guess. So now we'll check on the Codespace and see if it's ready. If it's
So it was npm. We'll make sure we fix that as well. So it was npm install dash sme dash client dash G. That was it, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do I remember that correctly? I think I did. Mish did a dev task. Move the Kanban card. Move it.
Right.
We have actions that move our cards automatically from in progress to shipped. So there you go.
Excellent.
Okay, we'll move that up so you can see that.
Daryl did make, actually, before I answer Daryl's comment, I'm curious, do you have any questions on what we just did? Oh,
this was supposed to be a 25,000 hour POG marathon. I love it. Anyone got any questions?
Oh no, I was asking if you had a question on what you just entered.
Oh, me? Oh, wow. Okay. I was like, everyone's like, no question. I was like, I'll let the chat have any questions. Nah, I'm
because
good.
One thing that's dangerous is blindly pasting in commands from random places and random people. So I'm glad you trust me.
You're a random person?
Yeah, so we basically just installed the SME client globally in this environment. Daryl did make a comment about the Brian got hit again with the SME.
I banned him this time.
The doing NPX instead of using the SME, installing it globally is good. But the only issue is the next command we're about to do is not SME client. And sometimes when the NPX commands don't match with the actual command, I found conflicts. Which is why we're not using NPX. NPX is a way to install and run at the same time. So the next thing we're going to be doing is not running the command. We actually have to set up some environment variables. So can you go back to the README and let's keep me honest. Oh, actually, next thing we do is we have to create a SME channel.
SME channel. Right.
Yeah, so you'll go to the README and click that link in a new tab, sme.io.
Would you like to explain to people what SME is?
Yeah, and this is something that comes up a lot in whenever I share it. SME is a webhook receiver. So with GitHub, to be able to talk to GitHub or actually have GitHub talk to Twitch or to OBS, GitHub's going to be sending webhooks from the repos that we're going to be watching. And those webhooks are basically like, if I were to make a text message and send it to Michelle, that's going to go to Michelle and she's going to receive it on her phone. At the moment, we don't have any way to receive these webhooks because we're doing some local development environment. Some production stuff like Vercel, who leverage like Socket.io or the other one, WS, they will do webhook menu or question mark. Anyway, I'll pause on that. But yeah, basically they receive the webhook. So SME is kind of like ngrok. If you ever heard of ngrok is another place for being able to tunnel APIs. SME actually is, it basically is I guess you could call it a middleware. But yeah, it sits in the middle between your local host and the production app you're trying to do. And it's a way for us to test this. Now, you might not have heard of SME because it was built by GitHub employees and GitHub employees to kind of test our webhooks internally without paying, money elsewhere. And it sort of solves our problems. It is open source and usable by anybody who wants it. We don't really advertise it. But in this use case, in sort of the training environment, what we're sort of in right now, or sort of the learning environment, SME is a really good, cool tool to use. So I'm super happy that GitHub gives this away for free and like makes this available to everybody.
Sounds good. All right, so I clicked create new channel.
Yep, and that channel URL is something we're going to need to hold on to. So I would just keep this tab open.
Okay.
And then we're going to, you probably want to copy this SME URL too as well to your clipboard. And the next step we're going to do is actually create a webhook. So we'll just go ahead and create a webhook. Now we can create a webhook on your repo. That's probably the best place, the one that you forked.
Yep. So go back to my fork.
Because I think so at this point it's low stakes. So low stakes as in like we don't have to worry about your git-twitch fork being exposing secrets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at this point you want to go into your developer settings for the repo. So if you go into the settings, which I think is going to be the yeah, there we go. And then on the left in that panel, it's going to say webhooks.
That's right. I'm doing this. Webhooks.
And this is going to be a way we can send the messages back and forth to.
I will let you have a chat to people while I put in all my passwords and.
Yes.
This is GitHub being really good on security now. Every time you do anything, you got to check security and credentials. Okay, so I'm assuming that payload URL goes in here.
That's where the SME URL goes in.
SME.
And the SME URL, that's basically you're telling this GitHub repo to essentially send all its webhooks directly to SME. And what we're gonna do with SME is we're gonna talk to our app that we have in a Codespace to be able to receive those and see that sort of console logging. Now, normally, what I was getting at is normally you put this in a production environment and all this would be handled like with like a Heroku or AWS or Azure or whatnot. But since we're not going to deploy anything to production, we're just going to basically just set this up the way it is.
Sounds good. So we just leave it as it is.
Yeah. And I think that Dave Core actually has a, I don't know, question. So SME receives the webhook and pushes something to Twitch, or the Twitch bot pulls everything from SME every X seconds or something. So yeah, it's not pulling, it's actually receiving. So every time we push from GitHub or we create a webhook from GitHub, so that's what Michelle did, which actually, Michelle, you need to edit that real quick. We'll have to do two more things. And apologies, I didn't write this in the README.
We can write it up now.
I'll update that later, or we can update this after, but we'll need to actually, instead of pushing everything directly to this webhook, we're going to just select only one event. And I like to pick events that are trivial, that I can test really quickly. So what you'll want to do is scroll down and pick the one that says stars. Because stars are they're trivial, they're easy to sort of click on and off. And I would take off pushes. Take off pushes. Okay. Yeah. And then there's going to be one more thing we need to do is we need to set a secret.
Yep. Do we want to show that on screen or do we want to turn that one off?
It's pretty low stakes. I tend to always make my secret when I'm on a live stream. But you can also turn it off and make it whatever you want. Just note that with having the secret enabled, it means that we can't get any sort of, the thing is, like, we have like 30 odd people in the chat, so anybody can hit that webhook manually and send random information to us.
That's all I was thinking. I think we can just like randomly send stuff to me. There we go.
So I know everybody here in this chat's super nice, but I've actually seen other live streamers. But you never know.
People are gonna watch the VOD later.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I was on a stream with Contentful, and we had a exposed endpoint.
Yeah, and, it's good practice, people, to obviously this URL. Again, I don't mind if people are going to see that one because we're going to change that later. But it's good practice that anytime you're typing in passwords or showing anything that could be potentially taken, it's always good to flick your screen off.
Yeah. All right, so we've done the SME channel. We created the webhook. SME and everything's connected, so we're good there. We now want to basically take that SME URL and do one more thing where I need to start the server.
Okay.
So we go back in the Codespace.
Back to here.
Yes, and we have that terminal that's down there.
Yep.
There we want to type in SME dash U. So hyphen U.
Dash U.
And this is basically that SME client that we installed.
Yeah.
We're basically running this now, and then paste the URL.
Cool.
Yep.
Why
so this
SME?
is basically.
Do you know why it's called SME? Like every time I hear the word SME, all I think of is Peter Pan, like the dude called SME of Peter Pan.
I think that might be the inspiration.
Wait, really?
It's funny because the guy who interviewed me, and we talked about the interviews. So let me talk about my interview, because the guy who made SME, he actually interviewed me at GitHub. And so at GitHub, I had the introductory process where people find out, you know, like your background, whatever. And then you go through the process of like the what do you call it? The informational, situational interviews of like, tell me a time when you did this, tell me a time you did that. And then I had a coding interview, a couple of them, where one was a review of pull requests, which I loved. They give you a pull request and you have to review the code. This is not for every team. This is for my experience. Just want to point that out too as well. We do have centralized, every engineer interviews the same way, but that was not the case when I joined. Back when I joined, we were a quarter of the size. So we're 4 times as big. So there's way more structure. But then my next interview was I had to build something with the GitHub API. So I had the API, which is funny because I loved messing with the API before then. I built an entire platform at Netlify using the API. Which is Netlify deploys. But what I'm getting at is I just had to build something with the API. But the guy who interviewed me, he built SME, and he doesn't work at GitHub anymore, but that was like a long, rambly story to answer a question that somebody else asked earlier.
Sounds good. Now, do you know how to zoom in on a Codespace?
On a Codespace, it should be just like a web browser.
Yeah, it's not working.
Oh, and I have my Codespace is, yeah. I just hit the Control Plus and it's bigger.
That's what I'm doing. It doesn't want to do it for me. But also, while you were chatting, I was editing the README file. Yeah, I've tried Control Mouse, which obviously that's how I zoomed in here before, people. Why do you think we're at now 150%? Because we zoomed in. See, it works for this, it just doesn't work for the Codespace.
Yeah, that's weird.
So I'm not sure if it's my Codespace or if I wasn't sure if Codespace doesn't.
Yeah, it might be your Codespace. Maybe you have to refresh it and get a new.
Let's refresh it. We'll refresh the Codespace. While we do that, we'll finish doing this. So basically, we create the webhook under settings. We paste the SME URL in the URL payload under here. We'll call it payload URL.
You should probably put a screenshot in there too as well.
Yeah, we should.
I mean, if we're going to improve the README, we might as well improve the README.
Exactly. If we improve the README. Edit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a lot of I guess debugging for the Zoom problem, but yeah, it's weird because I literally have a Codespace open up in a tab on my machine, and zooming in works for me. The other thing is probably just going into the web browser and doing view in Zoom manually. That's the other thing, but
view. It doesn't just GitHub is. No, it's like this is a Codespace, which is slightly different. Okay, that's just opening up different terminals. No problems were detected. Okay, what if we... No, let's just try refreshing it again. We'll just see what happens.
What browser? Are you in Chrome?
Yep. We are in the Chrome.
And you're not using an extra extension to do dark mode? You're doing the native dark mode?
Yeah, this is all GitHub native dark mode, people, because, you know, GitHub has dark mode now, which is amazing. Okay, looks like it. Oh, because it's on, it's created a new environment. So this one's obviously on native, so dark mode's turned off here. So we're using the native GitHub dark mode. Whoa, oh, the good old, what browser are you using question?
You know
exactly.
how many times I've solved bugs because I find out someone using Safari or using what's it, Brave browser. Just asking the
Yes.
browser narrows out so many questions. Because like the sort of earlier this year we had a cookie change in Chrome, where now Chrome will not let you send, like what we're about to do, send webhooks or API calls from one browser, like from port 3001 or to port 3002. That was like a pain point in some of the code I was doing earlier this year. And yeah, I just sort of figured out that it was Chrome, and then when I fixed it in Chrome, then found out the Brave browser was another problem. And at GitHub, we have lots of users using all different types of browsers. So yeah, I always ask that question.
That's always what are you using? What browser are you using? All right, let's plonk that screenshot in here. Junk. Is that gonna work? Maybe not.
It won't work in here because the README will not. You actually have to, for READMEs, you actually have to have the file locally.
Oh yes, correct. That's all right. You can put in a screenshot.
Yes, I could totally do that.
Just make you do some more work. All right, let's go back to Codespace. Now, unfortunately, we can't actually zoom in on the Codespace, which is super weird. Everyone's like, I love GitHub. Have you given up on IE? Who's we?
I think most of the developers have given up on IE. There are still people supporting it in certain instances, but I think Edge is the future. At this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so our hook was after. So what are we doing back in this Codespace?
So in the codes, where are we at? We just did connect to the webhook. Oh, so now we basically we have the SME still running. Is that correct?
I hope so. I don't know. I refreshed it, so we might have to enable it or.
Yeah, you might have to do type in SME-U and then the URL. I think you'll need to do it again.
Yes, we will need to grab back. So don't forget to go back to our URL. Grab that, paste it, and plonk it in there and see if that works. Okay, it's connected.
Okay.
I really wish we could zoom in on this. Oh, hang on. That's the search button, not the zoom button. It's so weird that doesn't. Is
your monitor just massive? Oh, what happened there?
It just started working.
Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it's because you're streaming from OBS. Sometimes OBS can kind of kill my processor. So like doing something as simple as Command Plus, and yeah, that could also be hard.
No, it doesn't matter where I am. No, I've tried doing different things. Anyway, is that big enough for everyone to see?
We'll just call that a win.
Yeah, we'll just call it a win. Is that big enough for everyone to see? Yes, I hope so. Cool.
Yeah, and you know what? You'll have to kill SME because I just realized that
it's
actually keep SME running.
Okay, it's still running.
Okay, so you actually have to create an environment. So go to the dot. I didn't actually put this in the list either.
What? How many things did you miss in the list?
I figured, error-driven development at this point. So there is a file.
Okay, we're gonna do this one. So we're gonna go update the SME URL webhook. Okay, done. Alright, so what do we need to do now?
Yeah, you might as well keep that PR open because there'll be more things.
Okay, there's more things, guys.
So going back to your Codespace.
Okay, go back to my Codespace.
Yeah, so there's a file called .env.example. You'll just want to copy and paste that into a new file.
Into a new file.
Yeah, and this is like one of the things I made a lot of assumptions, but just create a new file called .env.
env.example as well?
No, just .env. Because this one's the real thing.
Okay.
Now, normally what you do is you don't want to share this. In the marketplace right now, the VS Code is actually asking you to install a plugin, so that way it masks the code that you're about to put in. This is the same secret you put inside the webhook.
That's what I figured. Yep. Okay.
So you just want to put that there, and then you should be able to just move away from that screen, and that's all you have to do.
Yep. Done. We are back. There we go.
Excellent. So you should be in the back of the Codespace.
Yep. Working
Excellent.
Codespace.
And then, so now we can go ahead and run npm start in a new tab. So if you go to terminal,
Yep.
there you go.
npm start. There we go.
And that should now, before porting, open the browser, open in browser. That's something that when you use VS Codespace, you don't want to close that box.
So open in browser, this one?
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. So we've got some questions from people saying they've just swung by and saw GitHub is streaming. We are creating Twitch integrations and GitHub integrations. So basically when you are on stream with someone and you follow someone, usually you get a fancy notification. We want to do the same thing for GitHub. So if someone stars your repo, forks it, creates a pull request, you want to know. And you want your viewers to know as well. So there we go. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. I really wish Twitch would integrate inside of GitHub. But yeah, it's
we know people on the Twitch dev team. We should just ask them. Alright, this is our URL here.
So,
we got it.
So this URL is that is pretty much it. It should be blank. And that's what it is. So if you go back to the console, or sorry, the terminal, we now have port server 3000 working. And then go back to the blank screen. Just open up the Chrome console. I just want to make sure there's not an error message. Oh, there is an error message. There's one more thing we have to do.
Okay.
And that is also super small.
Okay. What else do we need to do?
We need to actually, I actually did this intentionally because I wanted to force myself to talk about how this is working. Okay. So in the error of the localhost 3000 that got opened up in the other tab, this is not working because with localhost, with the browser that gets open, it's SSL encrypted, and because we're doing localhost locally, it's not SSL encrypted. So this is something I should probably have in the README as a note that you'll need to change it if you're doing in the browser or not in the browser. So inside this file, go back in the code.
Yep.
This gives me an opportunity to talk about the code. So here we've got a couple different things. We've got index.js. So that's where our webhook, if you want to click on the index.js, as the file.
The file, yeah. I was like,
yeah, so
the file, not the console.
This is how the webhooks are working. So this is the WebSocket package that we're leveraging. That's the webhook secret on line, what was
10?
it? 10.
Got it.
And then we're also using OctoKit's webhooks library. So this is make it so much easier. It's SDK for the webhooks in GitHub to talk to them within this code. And then we're doing a couple different things. It's sort of grabbing the sender and how it's sort of received and printing that to the console. So when someone stars the repo, we will see who started based on their GitHub account. And that's pretty much like, we do have some other stuff that's happening below, and it's sort of the webhooks sending and receiving there. And then we do have an error message as well. And this is on line 13. This is, sorry, that wasn't 13.
23 maybe?
23. No, sorry. What was that? Why did I say 13? Go all the way to the bottom where it says...
and 1 and 3, you know.
Sorry, 33.
Oh, 33.
Sorry.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. So we're actually using Express, and Express is a way to get a really quick server, a web server up in JavaScript or Node specifically. That Express server is pointing to the public folder. So you can see on line 36, it says public. That's where our static output is. So that came up in the chat earlier with like Netlify. So open up your public folder. There will be an index.html. And this is like the beauty of browser sources and just having simple HTML files. That's what this is. So we're pulling in Comfy.js, which got mentioned earlier with the beybot. And then on line 13, this is 13 needs to be, instead of WS, it needs to be WSS. And that's the biggest difference. And I left it there intentionally because I needed to slow myself down to explain how this works. So you should be able to save that. And now localhost 3000 will work.
Refresh and everything work. Apologies for the sound. Someone just decided to start mowing outside my window at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. We knew you could do it.
You got to do it someday.
I know. I'll keep muting myself when I'm not talking so that you don't have to listen to the terrible ballooning mower.
So we just saw an animated GIF that show up once we fix the server with the WSS, which was the SSL encryption. that is our animated GIF. So that is essentially what it's going to show. It just starts whenever you start the server. It will just show you what the GIF is. This is not the best code. This is the easiest code to get something up on the screen. So now we have to decide. Well, actually, we can make this work in a couple different ways. But one thing you need to do is actually go back to the index.h. Go to the gif.js inside the public folder. And we'll need to change it from Bdougie to MishManners on line 7.
MishManners. There we go.
Yeah, so that's going to be where your repo is. And then line 6, like all this other stuff is actually not as necessary to change. That's for beybot chat integrations to work. But we're not actually going to connect this directly to our chat, the GitHub chat. We're going to actually connect this to the GitHub repo. So that's if you want to go above and beyond and connect it to your chat integration. You just simply change it to GitHub.
All right, we've got GitHub there.
And I think it needs to be lowercase because that's the way it's, I think Twitch might be case sensitive based on the URLs. So yeah, it should be all lowercase. Yeah, and honestly, I think
I was looking at our thing to see what, yeah, it's all lowercase. And same with the repo owner.
This one's actually not talking to the API. It's actually just going to print to the screen. So uppercase is fine. Cool. But for good practice, I always tend to lowercase stuff when it gets sent through web URLs because it's, yeah, sometimes that bites me for errors. So we'll go ahead and save that. We'll refresh the tab where we have the browser open.
And while that's refreshing, I'm going to shut the window so we don't hear this guy as much, and you can chat to the people for a bit.
Yeah, so the moment of truth actually is going to be when someone's going to have to star the repo. And that's pretty much the interaction at this point. We'll add some other, I think we'll stick with that interaction based on the time that we have. We'll maybe clean that up. But yeah, we basically just need somebody in the chat to star. Actually, did we get someone to star the repo?
Not sure.
We could actually check by just scrolling down on our server in the terminal.
Yeah. Server or started. Okay. Also, yeah, my window was shut. That guy outside just had me very, very loud, and it wasn't a lawnmower. It was like a leaf blower instead.
Oh.
So there you go.
So I think that I think we have an issue, an error message, but this is actually a good opportunity for us to check the SME tab. We can either check the running SME server that we have running.
People are starring. Whoa, how many people are starring it? Go, people,
do you want to zoom that a bit?
Yeah, let's go in a bit further. Look at that.
Yeah, so open up one of those just by clicking them.
Whoa!
So you can see that we're getting actual stars happening, but I think we might have to restart our server. I think that's the issue.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like Mad 15 starred that one. I'm just looking at the payload.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, it's like the third line but up. We should be getting Mad 15's name in the console. So we'll have to figure out. I think it's because we need to restart the server.
Okay. So we need to go back to Codespaces, and then what do we do?
Can't kill this server and restart that one.
So how do you kill it? Is it like Command C kills it?
That was it.
That's it, and it's okay. It's done. Now start again.
So now we're going to
npm start again.
Yep.
We'll move that out of the way. See all forwarded ports. Open in browser. Okay, we'll get rid of that one. Start git-twitch. Okay.
Yeah, so we're getting folks starring the repo, so that's actually looks fine. Not sure it should be showing up. So like everything's working, except the one thing that is probably not as important, which is essentially the server should say, this user started the repo.
Down here?
Yes.
Okay.
And honestly not sure why it's not showing there. It's not a big deal, to be quite honest, because it is working. We can see it sort of showing up. And we do see that showing up in the logs.
Okay.
Can you just go over to if that drop down we have the different terminals.
This one.
So right
here.
now it says 4 npm.
Oh yeah, we've got a few of them. Whoops.
Oh, maybe is that the issue? How many? Could you just go through?
How many did we do? Okay, we killed that one.
Oh, so yeah, that was SME. We actually need that one running.
Oh,
I think that's probably the issue.
How about we kill them all and restart it?
Yeah, we've got 2 of each, and we don't need 2 of each.
Okay. So, okay, let's just...
Okay, so that I don't think that actually got rid of anything.
No, it didn't. Where did my terminal go? Come back here, terminal.
I think you should Command J, I think is...
Yeah, there we go.
Or, sorry, yeah.
Okay.
And so only the server's running. Can you stop the localhost 3000?
Is that just... that?
Also, yeah. Control C or Command
I keep
C.
pressing enter. I keep forgetting that you don't need to press enter to like. It's already got it happening twice. Whoops. Sorry.
Yeah. So this should be SME, or the other one. If you go to the other one that had SME already running, you should just be able to hit up. Yeah, just hit up on the keyboard and hit enter. Okay. So now this is running. I don't think it was actually running before, which was probably part of the problem. And then now go to the other terminal. Or just any other one. We just only want to do this once. Now do npm start.
Okay. Sorry, people. I got too excited.
There we go. And just stay on that tab.
Start. Okay. Now what?
Go back to the tab with the Codespace.
Okay. Should we get rid of these other 2 terminals? Like just...
No, they wouldn't be doing anything.
Okay, well, I got rid of them. They weren't doing anything, I got rid of them.
Okay, actually go up to SME. You saw some output there. Okay. If you scroll up. You know what it is? Bad requests. Yes, scroll up to the top where you see the start of this. This is an error message.
Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, there we go. Legit. Error, cannot post.
Yeah, so it can't post, and it's because we missed a step. If you go back to your webhook, we should be actually taking JSON. I missed the explanation of this. On the content type, up on the top.
Yep.
You'll see there's a drop down.
Yep.
So content type below. So above secret.
Oh, sorry. Yep. There we go.
That should be JSON. That's the problem.
So
the way this is written, like I'm expecting it to be JSON, but I never told you I was expecting JSON.
Okay.
So now it's working. So this explains why SME was getting payload request, but then we were looking here and we were getting nothing.
Yep. Okay.
So I think at this point it should be working as expected. So go back to the Codespace terminal.
Oop, there we go.
Yeah, scroll to the bottom of that. Oh, yeah, it looks like we got some success. Yeah, folks are just like, smash that star button.
Yeah, okay, it's working. There we go.
Now. We got 200s now. There we go. So everything was working.
Oh, it's working.
We happened to be doing the wrong thing, receiving the wrong type of input.
Yeah. It was the wrong format. Sorry, people.
Yeah, and I think everybody else, Daryl might even caught us quicker on the bad requesting too as well. Yeah, that's Daryl Duck is the best rubber duck. That's for sure.
The best rubber
duck. So now at this point, we have the option we can change the GIF. So I think you were trying to change the Bdougie GIF. Yep. At the moment, the star GIF, we can change it to anything we would like. What I like to do is
so that's under the HTML here, was it?
No, it's actually in the GIF.js. So the HTML is just importing all these files with all these JavaScript files. And yeah, it's sort of doing a lot of the sort of work for us. So on line 13, actually, we'll need to figure out which one is star. So
yeah,
this gives me an opportunity.
Star? You got your Bay GIF, your welcome, pizza, and then Bdougie.
Yeah, so this gives me an opportunity to explain this. None of those are the ones that we need to change. But if you go down to these comfy commands, we can go down to see which one is.
Oh, okay. So command welcome, yo, flex, pause.
Yeah, so those would be all the commands from the command line. There should be a star one.
GIF alert. User GIF audio play. Function. Hits the end. Yo, welcome, needs a pizza party.
Oh yeah, it should be called starred. I don't know if you can do a control find for starred. Yeah, so that's the one.
Starred,
so that's where
name like we knew you would.
Yeah, so that's the text that shows up above the GIF.
Which is what we have there. Starred git-twitch like we knew you would.
Yeah, so that's actually generating the title. Where this function or this sort of object that's or this whatever you want to call it, this hash that is grabbing the generate title. If you just do a find for generate title, we can find the
Did you hear that? Something just went flex.
Yeah, so I do have a flex a flex command too as well. Technically, if you wanted to do some trickery, you could go into my chat and make your chat make noises because my chat is still pointing to this interaction.
Is that where that's coming from at the moment? Oh my gosh.
So maybe some folks know what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah,
they know more than what I'm doing. Yeah, so where that generate title is, it's going to be probably next to the function or the GIF that we're looking for. And it's funny because I have this sitting right here next to me and I can just search this as well.
Okay. So I'm just laughing because everyone just like keep doing flex in the chat. Flex.
Yeah, so and this is the fun part about doing Twitch interactions. So what I'm looking forward to with the GitHub stream is actually having probably not as innocuous as saying flex, and that's a pun.
We need developers. That's what we need.
Yeah, I mean that's a fun. We can do that really.
Yes.
But we're real quick. Line 72 is where we're trying to. 73 is where we're trying to accomplish this.
Okay, guys, stop doing flex now, please. Okay, so do I need to put it in here? Do I? So let's try doing. As I was saying to Bdougie before the stream, what we wanted to do is we wanted to pick out some of the ones that actually GitHub gives. So we have lots of GitHub Octocat GIFs, and so what I thought is we'd choose one of these and use one of these. Now I know these two for a fact have like transparent backgrounds, so we're gonna go for them. So let's go copy link address, and then where do we put this in here?
We could actually just replace the dollar GIF, the dollar, from dollar to that
whole
brace
thing
and just
like
paste
that?
it right there. Yeah. We don't really need to abstract this into
what we will need
variable.
is a GIF though. So copy image address. There we go. So we need the dot GIF there. There we go. Oh,
Yeah,
the
so if you
leaf
save
blowers
that-
started again. If we save that, if someone stars now, we should get that GIF coming up, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so now the moment of truth is actually adding this to your OBS instead of to your I guess the web browser.
It's easy enough to do, so we can add this to OBS. So basically you go add a browser source here if anyone's never done OBS before. So let's go GitHub alerts, we're gonna call it. Okay.
That sounds good.
So obviously now we've got a browser source on the screen, as you can see there. So we're gonna add that URL in for the browser source. And then all we need to do is make the width, depth, we can change that if we want. One thing I like to do with browser sources as well is click shut down source when not visible. This means that when you're actually using OBS and you change different scenes, it's not running in the background, and therefore your OBS won't crash. Hopefully.
Ah.
Now it just says
Nice.
sign into GitHub. The browser source says sign into GitHub.
Oh, it's because it's running from a Codespace.
Ah,
That's why.
okay, how do we get it not
so-
running from Codespace?
We'll have to clone this locally and do the same thing.
Okay.
This is actually, I never actually got this far with the Codespace, which makes sense because the Codespace is going to be running only when you have it up and running in a tab. So I think the moment of truth is you should actually just go ahead and clone locally. You can do this with desktop if you wanted to.
Yep.
And then
So
run it.
let's
and
go
then run
to
it that
GitHub
way.
desktop. Actually, let's do the command line. People know I like doing clones from the command line. So open up a terminal. This is when I'm doing my
power
stream.
user.
Yeah. So GH will just tell you if you've got it open. Now what you want to do is go to wherever you usually put all your local copies of your GitHub. So mine are all stored here. So we go CD and then we open that location. And it's just GH repo clone, and you just put the name of the repo in here. You don't need to put github.com because obviously it's assuming it's GitHub. So I'm pretty sure it's MishManners. So we want to do obviously my one. So let's just make sure we know about MishManners, just backslash git-twitch. There we go. There it doubles there, and then we should see it cloning. Okay, we've got the clone happening there, and it's updating.
Yeah, and you probably want to do a tab in npm install the SME client.
On here?
Yeah, well, actually, the SME client's... Yeah, you'll need to do it in here in this environment. Yeah, so npm install -g SME -client. SME-client. Wasn't it SME-client-g? They both work.
Oh, they both work. Okay, there we go. So install it now. Okay, do we know about, Dave Core's got a question, WSL? An Ubuntu shell in WSL feels much more like home. WSL is where it's at, apparently.
World Surf League.
The World Surf League.
Sorry, I'm just googling, and that was the first hit. Honestly, I don't know. I don't use Ubuntu.
Windows subsystem for Linux.
Interesting.
Well, I'm not running Linux, so.
Or is it the? Yeah, I don't even know. Subsystem for Linux. So is that actually having Linux on your Windows machine instead of using terminal?
That makes sense. I mean, I've used. So in Ubuntu, you're actually putting Ubuntu in the Windows subsystem. That can work, because I usually have it on like a USB key, and then you just boot into Ubuntu, but then obviously you don't have access to everything else. I run Linux in Windows. Oh, so you're actually running it in Windows as opposed to what I usually do, which is chuck it on USB and boot it up. Almost natively. That's really cool. Let's have a look at it.
Windows, yeah, I might try that out for my machine, because like I have a Windows machine, and I just don't really, it doesn't feel right when I'm writing code because I spend way too much time on a Mac. But I am comfortable in Linux, and I've been wanting to have a Linux, a go-to Linux machine at my fingertips, and I haven't had one in a long time.
Yeah, nice. So it runs mostly natively, but you can access Windows files from Linux, start Windows binaries and bash, etc., 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 and it's just amazing, apparently. Yeah, it's good. Like, as I said, I used to use it on a USB, in which obviously you still get access to all your files then. And that was one of the ways I used to hack around getting people's files. If they couldn't boot up Windows, you just like boot into Ubuntu off a USB, and then you have access to all their files, copy and paste it over, do a reinstall of Windows, and then they've all got their files. It used to work so well. Alright, so we've done this. I've installed NPM. What else should we do next then?
Yeah, so we want to run the SME client. Yeah, go ahead and run the SME client. SME-u in the URL.
And then that URL from the webhook.
Yeah, your muscle memory is amazing. You remember where everything is.
Thank you. I try to.
And then the next thing is you'll need to set up the webhook secret again.
Okay.
But that will be in your, I guess you could do that desktop. Well, you did it in the CLI, so you'll have to open up desktop or VS Code.
As in, yeah, okay, let's just do that. Alright, so I'll flick my screen back to us too while I do that. So basically, actually I'll show everyone what I'm doing first. So what I like to do when I open and clone repos, this is just the way I've started learning to work. So here's my git-twitch, right? So this is the one we just cloned. It's all here. It's perfect. It's nice. So what I usually do is open it up in VS Code. So if I go to VS Code, bang, 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 I'll just close whatever last project I was working on. Actually, it should be fine. I'll just close the window, make it easy. And then I'll just open up a new one. And then you just dump the whole folder into VS Code, boom, like that. And then everything's here. So if I go to example, it's here. So I'm going to do what Bdougie said before, which means we're going to create a new file called env by itself. And we're going to copy and paste this webhook. For those of you who can't see it. It doesn't want to zoom in at the moment. There we go. Wow, it's huge. That's way too big. So copy and paste that into the environment here, and then I'm going to grab my secret. So now you can chat to people while I go and grab my secret.
Yeah, and we haven't done a ton, and the whole intention of this was like giving up us opportunity to talk about the API, the webhooks, Codespaces. What I love for folks to do is, you've seen the README needs a lot of help. If you're interested in sort of leveraging this for your Twitch live stream, or if you want to just do a little practice live stream as well, you don't have to even go live. You can just open up OBS locally and then put the browser source in, just like Mish did. And yeah, always looking for feedback, issues. It's open source. So if you want to open up an issue and talk about features you'd love to see in this thing, that's the best way to sort of build things like that, is actually getting feedback directly from you. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Sounds good. Now I'm just trying to work out why it's not picked up the change. So obviously I've saved that file. I'm going to copy it.
Oh, so the .env is actually put into the git ignore. So you can't actually save it. Your desktop won't show anything different.
Okay.
And it's because it has a secret. You don't want that secret to be exposed on GitHub in an open source repo.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Which is why we had to do it manually again.
Okay, so that makes sense. So that means it's already automatically added back there, or what happens there?
So every environment you have your repo set up, you're going to have to always add that environment variable back in. Now there's some tools you can use, like Doppler is one that can provide your secrets in different environments, and you don't have to continue to think about them. There's some other, I'm trying to think of the one that's HashiCorp. Vault is another one. So like that .env, you could use Vault, and then you don't have to remember to add your secret every time you clone a repo somewhere else. It's kind of nice for like Docker or other cloud environments. So now that secret's there, you should just be able to npm install, which I think is one more step we didn't do, and then npm start.
Okay. Whoop, it's not working.
Oh, you got to open up a new tab.
Yeah.
Because SME's running on this one.
npm install. Also, if anyone didn't realize, I just totally showed my my secret on screen, so I've already changed it.
Okay. I missed it, but thanks for calling that out.
I've done it a few times. I'm like, oh, whoops, accidentally showed a password for that. Never. But I say it after I've already changed it, because people are like, oh, wow, quick, screenshot it. It's like, nah, already changed. Sorry, I say it after it's already changed. This is me from having to code and like do passwords and stuff so many times. I can literally just like, yeah, go, oh, bang, change that. Oh, sorry, I just showed my password in screen.
Yeah, and did you know about the code period command too as well to open up VS Code?
No, what's that one? So the command line you can run, oh really? Code dot, and then it opens up, oh sweet, thank you.
And it doesn't just open up VS Code, it opens up VS Code with that folder.
Yeah, that's really cool. I just noticed that. I was like, sweet as. It doesn't work in Windows, it did. It just worked.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It just
I know it was a while before they made that native. Because before you had to like install a special plugin to make it work.
Okay, there you go. So it was a while. So Daryl was probably right. It probably didn't used to work in Windows, but now it does.
Yeah, so. Yeah, it used to not work by default. It had to be, you had to install other people's random scripts and code to make it work, and now VS Code makes it work natively. Okay.
Daryl's also saying my memory is impeccable. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, it opens the current, which is really cool. Alright, so we're back here again. So we've done npm install.
npm install, so now npm start, and we're back to another version of this running.
Cool. And then we should be able to...
And just kidding, looks like there's an error.
There's an error, actually, yeah.
Oh, are you in the right folder? Are you in the folder?
I think we opened up a different one. Did we accidentally open up a different one?
I think you're in the Mish folder, but you're not in the git-twitch folder.
No, let's go back to the git-twitch folder. Whoops. Back to here. So just open up that one. npm start. No, still getting an error.
Yeah, so we have to npm install here.
Okay, let's
I don't think we were here when we npm installed. Interesting.
Well, I can go back.
Yes. That should be it. npm install.
Just npm install, yeah, okay.
Yep.
It's not the SME one yet, is it? No, we've already done that one.
No, yeah, SME it's running and waiting.
Yeah, it's right. It's like sitting there. It's like, come on, give me the things. I'm waiting.
Yeah, and that's what the error message is. It's saying that there's no localhost running.
Cool, and then npm start.
Yep.
Hey, it's working.
Excellent.
Started on port 3000, so that's local port 3000.
Yeah, so this is local port. So what Codespace was doing was doing local port 3000 for the Codespace in cloud environment.
Doesn't it usually give you a URL you can go straight to? Literally open it.
It should be localhost.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, this is a code I wrote. So normally, like for React and Vue apps, they'll give you a URL in the browser. I don't print that properly in there, which is, again, open source for the win. If you want to make that a better message.
There we go. Is that it? Localhost 3000?
Yep. So this is it working. The one thing is you can note that we haven't committed the change with the new Daft Punk to cat.
So would that all be in VS Code?
That's all in Codespaces. So
at the moment. Actually, this is a good one. I actually don't know how to commit stuff from Codespaces.
You can commit it from the command line if you'd like.
Okay.
So like git add, git commit. You could also use GitHub CLI too as well. Sorry, this terminal is running a server.
That one's running the other stuff. Whoops, sorry.
Yeah, you get in the server. Or we've got scary with tabs, but yeah, we can git add period.
Yeah. Git add, sorry, and then I'll grab everything that we've done.
Yep, and then git.
And then do we want a message?
Yes, we did it.
Stuff from OSF. We did it. Okay. 2 files changed, 4 deletions, insertions, and then... Is that it?
Yep. Yeah, so we did do this on the main branch. I don't know if that's going to be a problem if you make any other future README changes. But I think it's fine if you merge your stuff into the upstream. It's not a big deal.
I don't need to do anything else there, or is that good?
No, you'll need to git push.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and you can also use VS Code plugins to do all this too as well.
I rejected it.
Is it rejected? Why is it rejected?
The remote contains work that you do not have locally.
Oh, that is true. So you probably want to do a branch. It's because you made some README. So you have to do either git pull.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
Yeah, pulling those changes. This is why I like desktop, because it works it out for you.
Yeah.
And now
now we have a merge of that branch.
Waiting for editor to close the file. So I'll close it in.
No, it's so go back to where you just were. Oh, did you just close that? Oh, okay, so see above there, you had this is creating a commit message for you. You can probably close out this search for star. This is basically creating a merge commit for you.
Okay.
And at this point, I think this is this Vim? Can you hit shift semicolon to get the, I guess, colon? Or no, actually up on the top.
What was that? So up here?
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, so hit colon. WQ. That's actually not even doing it. Interesting. So yeah, I have actually no idea how to do this in VS Code because this is not Vim. This is trying to save your commit message. Actually, curious of chat. Y'all familiar with how to do this in VS Code?
I don't know how to do this. So obviously, if anyone doesn't know, Codespace runs via VS Code. So that's why.
Oh, you get to save and close the window. That's all you have to do. Sorry, in Vim it's way more complicated.
Lols.
So I'm like, I'm trying to make you do something you don't need to do.
Okay. Okay, you're just trying to be too tricky. Whatever.
Yeah. I have so much muscle memory. So like even Atomic Schools is he's got my command I was trying to run.
Okay.
Command WQ or :WQ. But
Okay.
just saving the file is actually all you need to do.
Okay, so we just literally go in here and just save.
I think you already did it. What happened to the commit message?
Where'd it go? It says waiting for editor to close the file. Where'd it go?
You should be close a file called merge message.
Merge message.
It's up. It should be up on the top
Okay.
in your tabs. Yeah.
And
So you
then
should
just-
save this file and then close it.
And that's it. Oh yeah, it does.
Yes.
It's literally all it does. Oh, that's hilarious. I did not know that.
Yeah. So this confused me as well because normally I do this with Vim on the command line, but in VS Code, just saving the file, you could have edited the message to something else if you wanted to. That's what they were giving you an option for. But just by closing it after saving it, it just proceeded with doing the commit.
Okay.
So if you actually go to git log, type in git space log, you can see that last message. That's the message up on top that we were editing. We didn't
Yep.
do anything there, but that's where they're giving you a chance to change merge main of MishManners git-twitch.
Right. Cool. Now what? Now this localhost is.
You need to actually push that back to GitHub.
How do we do that? We go back to. That's the one I did, right?
Yeah, so the VS Code space.
And there we go. I don't know why it keeps showing up. I keep deleting it. Like, why do you keep showing up? That's alright. We'll fix it again. There we go. I created an even
So
better.
I think when you did the commit message, once we figured out how to close it, you'll need to push that back up to push it back up to GitHub. So that
Yep.
way in the command line you could clone that. Or sorry, you could pull it.
Okay. So
MishManners is a serial clicker.
I'm sorry. I literally have a serial clicker. It's so funny. People are like, just slow down. I'm like, okay, sorry, hands off the keyboard, not doing. Right, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we
So
have been doing a lot of dancing between different tabs.
we have been, haven't we?
And like
Okay.
the instant replay is literally what Dave Cordes put. Bdougie is like, yeah, wait, no, go back, hold on, one
Yeah,
sec.
just do that. Okay.
Okay, so now we're back to VS Code. Did we push that back up to GitHub?
We haven't. So if I go to desktop, there is no changes because the only changes we made in VS Code was the secret.
No, so this is we made a change to the GIF in the
That was
Codespace.
in code spaces.
Yeah, so we never got to the point where we pushed this commit, the merge branch. We need to actually push that back up to
Okay.
GitHub.
Because we
So
made
you
the
should just-
change under here. We made the change down here. Yeah, there we go. So now what do we do?
Yeah.
We go to.
So in the command line, you just do git push.
Oh, I think we need a new one.
Technically didn't need to do one, but
No, it's just that one was running.
that one was stuck in git log.
Right,
We had
that's
looked
it.
at the log and then we just had to exit out of that, but it is what it is. So on the terminal, we'll need the git pull locally. So now we're done with sorry, not here. We're done with
the
VS Code.
local one.
Or sorry, with Codespace.
Yeah, I was like, it's already up to date. Okay, so this one we need to do.
Yes. So we basically pushed the change, so now we can sort of have access to it.
So I need to open up a new one because this one's still logging, right?
Yeah.
So we need to open up my file again, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And yep. and then we go git pull.
Yep.
There we go. And then what? Git push.
Now we'll see the Daft Punk the cat should be now in our browser.
Now in the local.
So that was all saving one copy and paste, committing all that and pulling it down because we only made the one change.
It's not working.
Just check your server to see if there's an error message.
On the server,
which is this tab.
Here.
There's that one. That's an error message. Which I don't know what it is.
Signature does not match event payload.
Oh, that's because your secret changed.
Yes.
So you showed your secret and then you updated it.
Yep.
So you'll need to restart the server.
Oh, we need to restart the server every time we do that. Okay, so I just kill this one then?
You can take Command C.
Yeah, but I can kill it, right? Yeah. Okay, so then just npm, so we need npm start and restart it?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, I didn't know you had to restart the server. Okay, that's still not working.
It might be your invile.
I've already updated it. Yep. So
you updated it then locally. Sorry, we're talking. I keep calling it Codespace and VS Code. Trying to distinguish between what's in the cloud and what's locally on your environment. I'm not sure which one had updated.
They're both updated. Both VS Code local and Codespaces both have the new.
Okay.
The new one, but I don't know why. Maybe it just hasn't gone through. Let's have a look.
Maybe restart the SME too as well, because that's actually talking to your webhook.
Okay, so we kill this one as well.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, and just go ahead and hit up and restart that one.
Okay, connected.
And then check your localhost. That's interesting. Yeah, it's definitely that error message is about your secret.
Yeah.
we changed the secret so many times. Now we're
okay, but it's the same on everything. Well, it should be the same on everything. Except, is it the same? I could. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check. This is how I check. I'm like, that's the thing. I don't know if it's updated in GitHub. So I'm literally going to the repo and seeing what the secret is on the repo itself. Yeah, I'm
in the repo locally.
I'm going. No, this is on GitHub itself.
Oh.
Okay, so GitHub doesn't actually have it.
Oh.
Like my branch of GitHub. If we have a look, here's my branch of GitHub. It doesn't even have that environment.
So that's because the .getIgnored is ignoring that environment variable.
Yes, because you don't want to do that. So how do we?
So we don't want that. We don't want that secret on GitHub.com.
That is true. So how do we check to see if it's actually there? Do we just like push it back again, just to double check?
Pushing is not going to do anything. We actually that's where I was sort of talking with the vault and the HashiCorp store to be able to keep it consistent. We don't have that, so we literally just need to copy and paste it. Just on your VS Code locally.
That's what I did.
And they're all the same.
They're all the same.
So I have no idea what's going on. And that's the beauty of coding.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you're like,
but I'm 100% confident that the error message is because of secret. So I would just say, let's just make your secret for now. And just copy and paste that secret everywhere in the two places.
There's only two places where it should be, right? In VS Code and on, it's the same thing.
Change it to something new now. Let's see if that works. Oh, did you save the file?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat.
I know. I did save the file. It's got to be a user error. I know, right? You just save them. Okay. I've done everything.
Unfortunately, this is all in your hands at this point.
I saved everything. So I've saved the n.env file in Codespaces. I've saved the
Yeah.
.env file in.
So can you do me a favor? Can you
Yes,
open
go.
up your your GitHub repo, change the GitHub repo secret to secret, and we'll just manually just make it secret, and we'll just expose everything for now. And
Let's
just to see if we get
expose
the error.
everything.
We'll just see if the error message. This is what I usually do. I just make my stuff secret. My secret.
Do you want to see what the actual is? Do you want to see what I called the secret this time?
I mean, at this point, we all need to know.
I know, right? Okay. Right, is everyone ready to see what I called my secret this time? I actually didn't think we'd be showing this on screen, but... Oh, that wasn't it. Oh, that's why it didn't change. It didn't update. That was not it. This was my secret.
Okay.
Hang on. This was the secret. Can you see it?
Bdougie is awesome. Okay. Well, obviously it wasn't true.
That was the secret, everyone. Bdougie is awesome.
Obviously it wasn't true.
Now the cat is out of the bag. Everyone knows Bdougie is awesome.
Excellent. Okay, so now... Sorry, my cheeks are hurting from smiling.
Me too. Is Mish blushing? Oh, that's funny.
Alright, so now we should just go ahead and pick the
Oh, okay, so that's the thing, everyone. I figured it out. Don't forget
when you save button.
When you save, yeah, when you do something, it's not about hitting save on the things. You've got to scroll all the way down to the webhook and click update webhook. So don't forget that.
Okay, yeah, that was awesome. We got that on camera too.
We got that on camera.
Because that should definitely be in the README.
Okay, we'll change that. We'll change that in the README this time. I like it. Okay, so basically, yeah, change your secret, whatever it is, and then, yeah, and then copy paste it onto everything. Scroll all the way down. Update your webhook. Go to your environment. Save that there. Go back to your Codespace. Save it there as well, and then you should be good. Theoretically.
Yes, and now we got to the point where we can update the browser source.
Cool, sweet. Now we should be able to. We actually have to restart everything, don't we? So we have to go back here, and we have to kill this one.
Yeah, I think that one was good.
That one looks
fine. Once it started. Yeah, but we'll need to start it anyway because you did kill it.
So this one we go down to.
Command C.
Yep. I'm doing it. It's not. There we go. It's a bit. That one. There we go. So npm start.
Yep.
Cool. We're gonna start it there. So we need to restart SME here, so we can go up tab and then redo that.
Yep. Yeah.
And
looks
then
like
server started. All right. Didn't work. Why did it not work?
Wait, it's still running.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we just need to.
Oh yeah, it's still going. Sorry. Signal. Okay, the SME is still building. It's okay, guys. The SME is just still going.
Yeah, so you did get a 200. So it looks like someone did start it. I'm like struggling to find your repo. It's not handy for me.
Saying post.
So 200
Start
means okay.
Event received. Yay.
Mad 15. There we go. So yeah, so in the
not working on here.
Oh yeah, look at that. Go back. There was an error message.
Was there?
Yeah, you scrolled right by it. The other tab. No, actually, that looks fine.
That was us pushing the changes. So I'm getting the star event, and we're getting the server running. We're just not getting. The localhost just isn't building.
Probably just go into open up the Chrome console because right now this is a black box for us.
Yep.
That is extremely small, so you'll have to help me out on that one.
It's tiny. DevTools failed to load source map. Could not load content for Chrome extension. WebSocket connection to WSSLO index
so this is
socket.
this is actually legitimate. So
Okay.
remember when we first did the WS change in the public index to HTML?
Oh, we didn't change it on the local one.
So localhost is not SSL encrypted.
Yes.
So we'll need to actually make that back to WS instead of WSS.
Okay.
So this is we should probably, well, we don't need to do this, but I'll need to actually create a flag for when it's localhost to not do that check.
Yeah.
Go to the index.html.
So index
in line,
which one was it? Index.html.
Line 13.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is
here. So we just need to change that to S, right?
Yes. Yes. And this
Save.
is we'll need to do I'll need to do like some conditional to check to see if it's encrypted or not.
Okay, cool.
Again, this is not great code. This is code that works.
It's good code.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done that. Now we need to, do we need to make any, if I go to desktop, there's probably a change to make. Okay, so let's update index, fixed encryption. Just put that. And then we commit to main.
Yeah, and at this point, we'll have a browser source that will work.
Okay. We're getting there, people. Alright, so then if we go back to here. Yay! Woohoo!
I hope everybody learned something.
Now it should, if I... Okay, somebody star it. Somebody star it right now.
It looks like Gerald Duck is actually saying you can figure this to use... Oh, yeah. Why would you need to sign in to GitHub? That's the... Actually, change the browser source.
I will. Properties.
I think this is still pointing to VS Code and not localhost.
It's pointing to the original one. Okay, wait, people. Okay.
Flex. There we
go. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make that. Properties.
And I think it runs about like 10 seconds.
It does. Let's go 1920 by 1080.
Flex.
Okay, there it is. Yay, we have it. How do we change the color of the code? Or is that not gonna...
color of the code,
color
or you mean
of the text, sorry.
That would be in the index.html.
Okay,
we can just go directly there.
So index.html, here we go.
Yeah.
How do we get rid of that flex? Come on.
So which one do you want to do first?
Let's
Actually, I think they're both in the same place.
Yeah,
if you go to the gif.js.
Index, yep, index dot.
And then line 33.
Yep.
Yes.
Line 33 is the flex, is it?
Yep. Line 33 is where the GIF alerts happen. So you just remove the MP3 from there.
Oh, Pew Audio. Just remove that.
Yeah, but I don't think the Pew Audio was the one. That was for Yo. You'll need to go to
Here
line.
You go, flex.
Sorry.
Found it. We could actually just get rid of it. I'll just.
It's actually. This is not the place to do it. It's actually going to be below. Sorry, I didn't mean to say line 33. So uncomment that. So this is for the chat commands. This is extra code that we're not actually using.
Oh, okay. This is the chat commands. Right.
This is the actual star that happens is further down.
Further down, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be
audio play.
Yes, that's all you have to do.
There we go. Save. Okay, we'll push that in. Actually,
yeah, and then you could also remove the audio MP3 as well if that doesn't do that.
It doesn't. Oh, actually, I haven't pushed it yet, though.
Yeah, and sometimes with the browser sources, you have to manually refresh them too as well. Yeah, that's actually me saying flex too as well.
That is really. That does not sound like you.
Yeah, it's got some processing happening.
Flex. It's still happening.
Yeah, so on line, go back to the that function on line 68. Just replace audio with underscore, and then that will be fine.
Right, yeah.
Actually, even better, it's where the audio is. Sorry, I can't see behind the.
I know behind the thing. Let's remove the alerts a moment. There we go.
Yeah, I thought the audio play would have been it. I think it's at this point it's probably because there's a tab open with it open.
Oh, because I've got the local
Chrome
host
tab.
as
Yeah.
well.
So you can
Actually,
close
that
that.
shouldn't matter because it should be the same thing playing off that and playing off the.
Well, what's going to happen is the OBS is running the local one. Then you have one that's running with the VS Code, and it's going to run 3 times because every time you have it open, it's just going to run.
But I'm
audio.
only running the local host, and the local host is pointing direct to the OBS browser. That's why it's going off twice. But I've updated it now, so it means it shouldn't be going off at all.
And with the browser sources, you'll have to refresh the cache. With OBS, like normally with cache invalidation in the browser, it happens automatically when Chrome. In OBS, you have to manually do it. So if you made a change to localhost, that's not going to update in OBS.
Okay, that makes sense, I think. Where did it go?
So in the browser source on the bottom, if you open up the browser source in OBS, on the bottom of that browser source, there's a refresh cache button.
I did that one.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yep. Way ahead.
Yeah. Worst comes to worst, you can just go ahead and just remove all the audio MP3s at the top of the file.
That's all right. We just save that and make sure that's all good. Remove flex. Push, and then what was the other? We wanted to change the color of the fonts as well and change the type.
Yeah.
So where was that?
So,
with that or in index?
Line 72. So yeah, there's no CSS templates. So the way I would just do this is on line 72 before the. Actually, it looks like there is CSS here. Maybe I misspoke. Yeah. So the text shadows that are happening there. Is there? I feel like I should know this because I wrote this code. There's an index.css, and there's one called text shadows.
Yep, there it is. Text.
So line 30, you could do font color. Yeah, I think it's actually not font color. It's color.
There's open sans. How do you spell open sans? That does not look like it worked. Whoa, did a whole lot of them. Okay. Font weight, let's make that a bit bigger so we can actually see it. Font color. Whoops. Could use the American, don't we? Font color.
It's actually line 40. Actually, already has a color.
You've already got it. Sorry, I didn't see it. Color. Why is it? That is definitely not red.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Perhaps the it should be font color instead. Maybe you're on the right track.
Font. Where'd it go? Font size, weight, family, style. Where's color?
No, it should be color. Yeah, font color is not existent. It should be color.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it looks like the it looks like this CSS is actually not being. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's not included in the index.html.
Just color. That's what we had before, but obviously that wasn't working because it was like red.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's because the if you went to the index.html, we're not including the style sheets.
Oh. Okay.
So we are on line 4. We're including the JavaScript online right there.
Yep.
But we're not actually creating the CSS. So we'll need to actually create a style tag that it includes the index.css.
All right, how do we do that again?
I know we're doing it. It's actually line 3. Oh, it says style.css. That's why. It should be index CSS. Again, this is not the great code. It's code that works.
Okay, let's go leave that at red or whatever you had it. And save that.
Yeah, so this is actually doing a bit of, it's actually doing some animation too as well. So I did all this work and I realized
you're not actually showing any of it off.
Yeah, I wasn't showing it at all because the file name was completely different.
Okay, push to origin. The Commodore 64 had 16 colors. I know, right? Okay. That's not showing it, is it?
You have to refresh the browser source again due to the change that you just did.
doubles. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look like it's
Yeah,
changed.
this seems like the CSS and OBS is not picking up, which should not be the case.
So text shadows is there, and then index.html. Sorry, that red line. Why is that red line there? It's really annoying me. Why is it red? Dump all the new tech and go back to tile up. Okay, so you got index. Type,
yeah.
Text index.
I think there is something broken. But you know what? I don't know how necessary it is to debug some of my broken code. Should definitely just open an issue.
Yes, I will open an issue. Code is broken. CSS not working.
Yeah, that's interesting. But usually in these little explorations, I never get this far when it comes to. Usually we get the thing on the screen, and then we were sort of run out of time. But we've.
This is good. I think we got pretty far on everything.
Yeah. So I guess to recap, we basically were able to get the browser source working in OBS, so that was a win. I didn't expect the CSS to kind of throw us for a loop, but I think that UL tag, it is broken. It should not actually be written that way. So you definitely found another bug for me. It should be, I don't think ULs are self-closing tags. So that might be affecting things. The CSS name is also affecting things. But the good news is we have a webhook that talks to a GitHub repo, and every time someone starts a repo, it works. Also, keep in mind, SSL, you need to have it working for Codespaces, but it does not need to work for localhost. And
so
I think the
SSL is on line 13.
The extra, the line 13 of the public of the index.html. That's just a little trickery that and Daryl Duck, Daryl Duck mentioned we should definitely have some sort of flag to check for localhost and only use SSL for when we need it. And put the username before it started the repo text. You know what? It's meant to. Matt 15, you called that out too as well. It wasn't actually doing the username.
No, it wasn't. It was just saying somebody started. Just said start git-twitch. So how would we fix that? Where would that be?
If you go to the GIF.js.
Yep.
Actually, it's not even. It's the index.js in the main repo. That's where we're actually getting the username.
Right. Okay. That was message.
Which is funny. Well, I don't know how funny this is, but I was actually getting this to work locally before we got online, which is very confusing. But it says should say server. Actually.
Also got hey, you can always saying doc type is missing from the index or not.
That's all inferred at this point. Most modern web tools will infer that, so you don't actually have to type that anymore, or include it.
So where's the name? Console.
So it should say, it should receive message, and then the message should be created above there. So if you scroll to the top, where message is message defined up there. No.
Console output is where it should be, right? Or not? Line 14,
that's what it is.
Same. Mads and I figured it out at the same time.
So I don't think the payload changed, but if you went to SME, perhaps the way we're receiving it has changed since. Well, that's weird because it wouldn't have changed. It wouldn't have changed between the time we went live when it was working on my machine to the time where you forked it and then ran it. I don't know what happened since then because I am definitely looking at my console logs and seeing so-and-so. It says so-and-so started the repo. So
it's not to do with these WSS, is it?
No, that shouldn't be it because WSS there, which is confusing because the way we're doing it in index.html, this is actually what's defined in here with the webhooks.
Okay.
And that's defined earlier above line 6, I believe. But regardless, I would call this a win.
Yeah, I think it's a win. I mean, this GIF is a win. Look at that.
Yeah, that's what happens when the flex happens.
It's so good.
So if you would actually type that in my chat, that's the image.
Oh,
that
that's the GIF. Because before obviously we weren't getting the GIF, we were just getting the flex.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it. But yeah, I think it's definitely a win. So yeah, if anyone is keen to either give it a go yourself or jump on the chat, or if you would like to even do some updates or update the readme or anything like that, we added the link there, so I'll add it back in here again. So there you go. So we've got B Palmer says going to head out, but great stream. Some pretty good work that I'm sure streamers who cover love. Make sure you look at doing some work and submitting a PR on it if I get the time. That would be awesome. Enjoy the rest of the stream. We're about to wrap up now anyway. So again, thanks everyone. I'll watch your Twitch. Well, there's Bdougie is on Twitch. So there's Bdougie on Twitch. Or obviously you can follow me as well, but obviously Bdougie has way cooler coding content because he can code better than I can. Clearly.
I don't know if I proved it though.
No, definitely. I'm still like, what do we do here? What do we do there? Yeah, I'm really glad you guys all really enjoyed it. Yeah, I know you already follow me, Dave. I'm just saying for everyone else there. As we mentioned in our last Open Source Friday stream when we did the GitHub Game Off stuff, we now are opening up our forums after each stream. So if you feel like connecting with people here, you want to chat to Bdougie or myself as well, we're going to open up these forums as a way to talk to people afterwards. So if we have a quick look on stream, so you attended the event, let's talk and have a chat. So obviously we are only just going live now, so you can check it out. Feel free to put some stuff in there. The community team may even decide to do cool badges or Open Source Friday badges. So people who jumped in on the Game Off stream last week, anyone who commented on the forum got a special Game Off badge. Bdougie, you also have a staff badge, so you can look all official when you jump into these forums.
Oh, excellent.
But we thought this would be a good way. So the other thing we're going to do too with these is at the end of the stream, I'll go through and put in all the links that we spoke about as well, because obviously the Twitch VOD doesn't stay around forever, and the links in the chat won't stay around forever, but this URL will. So we'll put in all the links for SME, for the repo, for the Octadex if you want really cool GIFs that you feel like using, and we'll also put in the link in there for Bdougie's beybot as well. So how does that sound?
That sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you?
I'm not sure if you're waiting for the chat to respond back though. Oh yeah.
Both. Well, it's on a slight delay, don't forget. See, Daryl's saying good work, guys. Thank you. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. It was really fun. Yeah, I actually totally want to do this again. But
yeah,
if you
I would say that if folks have if go into the forums, open up issues. If you have any ideas for what we should build on stream or in basically improve the git-twitch bot, I'm all ears. Like I'd love to prepare and kind of get that stuff sort of keyed away and start integrating stuff, and even Mish's Twitch channel as well. That'd be cool to get one of my integrations on there.
I would really love that. So if you haven't been to some of our Open Source Friday streams before, we often have maintainers and people on the stream to have a chat and talk and have some fun. Now, often we do that, so we might have someone from some really cool projects coming up soon. But if you like this format as well, this kind of like pair programming style format of us building something and you watching on with us, do let us know, because we are trying out lots of different things and seeing what people like. And if you do like it, we will totally do it again. I'm just grabbing our meetup group as well. I think this should be the one that works. So that's a link for our meetup group. So we put all our events on there. So today's event was on there. We've got a few events upcoming. So if you're in Latin America or Africa, I think, or Spain, I think there's some events coming up for those areas. So go check it out. Join our meetup group as well. So that's really good and fun. And yeah, do you want to say anything else, Bdougie, before we wrap up and head home?
Yeah, that was good. And it was Brazil. Brazil is the other country you're looking for.
That's it.
So yeah, folks, thanks for having me, Michelle. This is the first time we've sort of collaborated together on the same stream at the same time. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you had fun, and looking forward to doing it again in the future.
Yeah, 100%. I learned a lot, and I hope you all did too. So yeah, we hope we can bring you more fun content like this. Everyone's saying thanks. So it seems like you all really enjoyed it, which is good. And I loved all the engagement and the questions too. Like, yeah, sometimes we don't mind if you deviate too much while we're waiting for a Codespace to load. We're happy to answer questions. But yeah, jump into the forum. It would be a good way to connect and continue the conversation after this. And I'm super glad you enjoyed it. Without further ado, thanks again, Bdougie, for staying up and being online for the APAC time zone. I'll probably have to return the favor and be online on an American time zone one for you, I think. But thanks again. Have a lovely Friday afternoon to all those people in Australia, New Zealand, APAC region, and a fantastic Thursday evening for everyone else on the Northern Hemisphere time zone. All right, thank you, everyone. We'll see you all next time.
See ya.